Okay, all right, all right, okay, all right, okay, all right, okay, okay, all right, all right, okay. Let's pull this up here. Make sure this camera ain't shaking all over the damn place. It's actually still bright and sunny where I'm at. So let's close this out here. Okay. All right. This should be good. Actually, I need to switch this shit up. Did I retweet it? Okay. So I need to go into Discord and go into the regular. Yes. There we go. So people could just jump in. It should be good. Welcome everyone. And we got another show here. Is this gonna make me look like I'm not in the fucking sunlight? Yeah, this is probably gonna be a little better. Alright, I think my video popped up. Alright, yeah, that works, that works. Welcome to my second episode of Allow. Bitch, you better chill out. Alright, Allow Discussion. We have two topics to talk about, as you can clearly see on the screen here. What makes a next generation game? And are you a hardcore or casual gamer? So we actually had, well, I had a really nice conversation regarding this shit, right? Really cool conversation with a friend of mine. We got into a debate on why is this shit turning on? What's wrong with you? We got into a debate about what actually makes you a hardcore gamer, what you and what doesn't make you a hardcore gamer. Like what are you casual? You know what I mean? And what's going on, Jemiah, man? The Discord is up if you want to jump in there. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. Don't forget on if you want to join in, just the YouTube or the Discord link here, and you'll be able to just walk right the fuck up in this chat room. But yeah, we're going to allow the discussion. We're going to allow the discussion of, are you a hardcore gamer or a casual gamer? And then our second topic is going to be about what is the thing that makes a next generation game versus what we currently are playing now. So we got this shit going on here. Um, so cause it's quiet today. I'm liking this quietness. I'm liking this quietness. I ain't even mad at the quietness right now. You know, oh shit, this shit's pause, bitch. Bitch. Discord and then bring this up. All right, cool. There we go. Uh yeah. So I got into an interesting conversation with a friend of mine about Horizon Forbidden West, man. I mean, it was absolutely it was tragic on the slander of that game. It was absolutely tragic. Um, the game's sloppy, you know, the game doesn't aim well. I don't really like how it plays. It's just not fun. And normally I'm pretty easy when it comes to I start unfollowing motherfucking people. Okay, yeah. It's tragic how much slander that game gets. like all the time, every day, all the time. It's very annoying, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But the thing is, the guy sits there and he says, "Well, you know what? Um, I played harder games. 'Cause my situation when it came to this game is that you don't know how to play the game. You can't sit there and use half the features and claim that the game's mechanics suck. That was my my biggest argument here. If you don't like the gameplay, you quite simply need to at least explore most of the options there before you say that you don't like it. If you're going to have a discussion, a real discussion on it, and playing and beating the game, you know, on the ultra hard difficulty, and letting the machines do all of the work, and you barely used any weapon other than the warrior's bow. No, is it the warrior's bow? No, this is the hunter's bow, I believe. No, that's not how you play the game. That is not how you play this game. We will not be doing that shit. You know, Stranded Ninja, what's going on, bro? Where's my fucking music? Oh, there you go. That shit tripping. So, um, yeah, this person plays a lot of Japanese games. You know what I'm saying? Plays a lot of Japanese games, lots and lots and lots of Japanese games. A Dark Souls, Demon Souls, what have you, man. And my argument was this: gotta give some love to the stream. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you want to join in the Discord, it's right there. The link is on Twitter, and it's on the About section here. You can just jump right in. But yeah, today's discussion is going to be about the people that claim that they're hardcore gamers and people that are not, that are really more casual in nature. You know what I'm saying? Let me just double check this shit one more time. Um, mm, mm, mm. Okay. All right. Cool. 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 So yeah. And I guess I have to rehash the story again. Maybe I cut the first beginning parts of YouTube so you can actually, not have to listen to me fumble around and shit like that. I literally not even going to hold you. I just woke up. But we are going to allow discussion on if you are a hardcore gamer or a casual gamer. Because a lot of people kind of throw this around to say that they're hardcore versus casual. Like, to be a dirty casual is to not be a gamer. And I feel like that question is not easy to answer, man. It's not an easy question to answer if you're hardcore, because hardcore can come in different flavors and different sizes and all sorts of things. There are people that play Fortnite professionally, man. Like, you can't touch them, period. They're that good. So, but that's all they play. Same thing with Call of Duty. Same thing with Counter Strike. Same thing with mobile games. Same things with cell phone games. So where is the line drawn between hardcore and casual? Where is that line? And this conversation actually sparked because I had a friend of mine say that Horizon Forbidden West is just not a fun game. It's not a fun game. No more Twitter. No, I do it sometimes. I don't know, man. Twitter. I'm so over that fucking platform, man. I'll do it, but like not all the time, man. I kind of want to filter out, you know, uh, being, you know what I'm saying? I want to kind of filter that shit out. I ain't gonna hold you. So many people, so many fake fucking people, and I gotta learn how to do this shit on my own and shit. So just bear with me while I gather myself here. But yeah, so it's always a dirty thing to say if you're casual, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people, especially on Twitter, that will sit there and say, well, I am a hardcore gamer. There's a lot of console warriors that say that they are hardcore gamers. I don't know if they are. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they are. No, I'm just saying. I am calm. Relax. Calm your tits before I make you have to use that sniper rifle. But Um, that's my concern about that topic here, and then we're going to talk about next generation. What makes a next generation game a next generation game? Um, the guy states that my friend states that the Horizon Zero don't, or Horizon Forbidden West is a poor game, or at least his words exactly is that the game is not that fun. That it takes actually I can pull it up. I can pull this shit up. He says that it takes too long to kill. Ooh, we gonna get into it because we were talking about it. Here we go. These are the quotations for the guy that says that Horizon just isn't fun. He says, I think the one big issue that I have with it is that it makes Horizon feel slow. He says that with all the technical enemies that are, and how, or with all of the technical enemies they are, and how imprecise she is at times, you never quite feel like you have full control over the character, right? He says that her movements feels weird, or excuse me, wild is probably the best word I could describe it. Um, Enemies take too long to kill. You have to take so much time to commit to movement, and that multiple enemies on the screen attacking you at once. He says for the game where you have to be precise and hitting small parts on the machine, it should be precise, and it shouldn't take that long to commit to an attack. He says the game feels artificially difficult because of this stuff. To me, the machines are not that fun to fight, and that's why I avoid them or use machines to kill them. It's just not fun. That's what Mr. Man says, which I'll leave Mr. Man anonymous. He knows who it is. And we had this discussion about how the Eastern European games and Western games are. Horizon is a different story here because I believe that Horizon is one of the more hardcore games that you can actually play, especially playing on the very hard difficulty. It is a difficult game to play. It is a difficult game to play, and it demands a lot out of you. So you just can't shoot things until they die. You have to have actual tactics. You have to have tactics. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of the times where people kind of fall and fail at. There are, oh shit, Jemiah, you in here?
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Oh shit, I'd even hear you. I gotta turn up your volume, man. How you do that? I think it's you. Say something
Yo,
one more time.
yo.
There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Put my black face back on there. I don't need to see your red screen. How you been, man?
Chilling, working, doing shit.
Same here, same here. Oh man, I'll tell you about that shit later. But on topic here, Horizon demands a lot out of you when it comes to this particular game. Um, there are a lot of different weapons that you can pick. There are a lot of different tactics that you could actually choose, and they don't really explicitly tell you exactly what to do. You know, and I would say that it's balanced for the most part, all the tactics, whether you want to do stealth, whether you want to do close quarters, whether you want to do mid range, long range, you know what I'm saying? Or you could be the trickster with the traps and shit like that. Would you agree, Jemiah?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of different ways you can tackle the game. I mean, I don't. To me, there's no wrong way to play the game.
Right. Um, but here's where the issue lies, right? Because the conversation that I had with a friend of mine, he says that she feels imprecise when you're shooting, and just to put this out there, the reason why she feels imprecise is because arrow travel time takes time to get from one place to another. You know what I'm saying? And so that you can't just look at a target and just shoot it and then be done with it. You have to kind of lead your shots, and that wasn't like that in the first game. It was actually the fucking arrows are almost instantaneous. And I feel like if you go into this game with that particular mindset, you're going to not have fun. They are trying to balance the hunter's bow, which is a mid-range, close to mid-range weapon. So if you want to get the accuracy, you gotta be relatively close or be damn good at leading your shot. You know what I'm saying? If you're a hunter, you should be able to do these things in general. Not only that, but this friend of mine didn't even use the other tactics, such as tying the machines down. You know what I'm saying? If it was so hard to actually kill the enemies, right? Then if you couldn't aim, then you could tie the machines down or slow it down with the adhesive bombs. None of those tactics were even used at all or explored. He mentions also that the enemy takes too long to kill and there's a whole ass tutorial in the game that tells you that the armor plating is going to greatly diminish your damage when you're trying to kill a fucking machine. It's going to greatly diminish it. So you're going to either have to A, hit the weak spots, B, know which weapons that bypasses the armor buffs that the machines have, or you can use the Terror Blaster to just blow off the fucking armor. You could use the blast slings to just hit damage the machine. You know what I'm saying, and not take off the armor. You know, there's so many different options to choose from, and then you have acid that allows for your actual hits to bypass the fucking armor anyway. So I killed a slaughter spine yesterday in like a minute, maybe a minute and 20 seconds. So I just don't want to hear, and this is on very hard. If you know what you're doing, then you could take these machines down easily, easily. So he claims also that he's played much harder games, and this is where the tricky part happens, because this is kind of a deep conversation to go into because it's kind of hard to differentiate what is hardcore and what isn't. What is casual, who are casual players, who are hardcore players. Japanese games tend to sacrifice graphics or animation for controls. So when you play stuff like Devil May Cry, the animations are very, very snappy, but they don't have any kind of nuance. It's just slash slash slash. It looks extremely exaggerated. And that's the kind of games that they want to craft. They don't have heavy animations in there. And since you've created video games or know about video games, you know that the more framey your animation cycles are, the less control you have. I mean, you can go all the way back to Tomb Raider on a PlayStation 1 days. Excellent animation. The controls were you had no control over your character unless you just kind of anticipated what was going on. So, Jemiah, would you consider yourself a hardcore gamer?
Consider myself a gamer.
You got to pick one or the other, my man.
I would
Casual
say
or
I'm
hardcore?
casual.
You're casual? Why is that word so dirty to everybody, man? Why is it like what's this ego that everybody has to say that they're so hardcore and
I
shit?
think that for people that call themselves hardcore gamers, I think the niggas are being narcissistic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this whole casual gamer thing, to me, the only difference is how much time and desire you have the game, right? So
Hmm.
if you're casual, you play games when you have free time if you want to. Like that's not your first thing to go to, right? Your first entertainment is probably be like movies or books or you hiking or jogging or some shit, and you'll play a game occasionally if you have the time, right?
Right,
If
right.
you're a hardcore, if you're hardcore about gaming, that's gonna be your first thing to do. Like your first thing you're gonna do to relax is you're gonna play a game. Your first thought in the morning is, damn, I want to play this game. So it has nothing to do with your skill level or what you play. It's just if you desire the game or you don't desire the game. You know what I mean? Like
Not only
if you're
that,
hardcore, if you're a hardcore baseball fan, you're gonna be constantly watching baseball, right? Looking up stats, following trades. That's your hardcore. If you're a casual baseball fan, you may watch it if somebody's watching it in your vicinity. You know what I mean? You may say, "Oh, what's going on?" To me, that's the only difference between being casual and being hardcore is your desire for that whatever topic or genre or hobby or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
right. And the thing is, right, because um here the problem with all of this fucking like you said narcissistic shit, ego boost type bullshit, you know what I'm saying? People have something to prove for whatever fucking reason, you know what I'm saying? And that sucks. It sucks. It gatekeeps. Because ultimately, if you do something long enough, eventually you become good at it. You know what I'm saying? You hear this a lot in the fighting game community, and shout out to Evo that's going on right now, where there are a lot of fighters that be like, you know what, or fighting people that are in the fighting game community, excuse me, be like, yo, what the fuck, man? They gonna keep letting these casuals in here, these casuals, and shit like that. I, I mean, how do you feel about the gatekeepers, Jemiah?
All right, my shit's on mute. I feel like there is validation in gatekeeping certain things. So like if you
PC, I
have a
guess, right?
game, if you have a game that's very technical and you need to do a lot of technical things in that game, and then a bunch of people start playing the game and then they dumb the game down and it's not as technical as it used to be, or it's not as robust as it used to be, you're gonna feel like they're ruining the game for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of
So
yeah.
I understand why people want to gatekeep shit because when shit gets popular, it starts to get dumbed down and watered down. You know what I mean? To fit a general audience instead of being what it was made to be, and that's a niche, for a niche audience or a niche whatever they're into.
And I feel that too because in general you have gatekeepers for PC gaming as well, like
Because
yourself.
look at D&D. D&D is becoming so popular now, and a
Is it?
lot of yeah, it's becoming super popular. They have a
What's
movie
causing
coming
this?
out. Just like more exposure. Just Stranger Things is a big influence. Critical Role, that's fucking huge as fuck. They got their own fucking anime or anime, but like their own like I guess it would be considered like Western animation on fucking Amazon.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I guess you would call it Western animation. I don't know what the hell you would call it
Because it's
actually,
not a
because
cartoon, but it's not
yeah,
anime. Yeah,
it's like
but
that.
like
It's like that. What do you call it? What was it? Early '90s Western shit.
hmm
Yeah.
back when people actually drew shit. But like,
Mm.
so like D&D is becoming fucking mad, fucking huge now. But then like you have the new D&D movie came out, and people are saying like tieflings are supposed to be blue or purple or some shit. When actually the actual definition of a tiefling is just a fucking human being that has demonic heritage or ancestry. So they can be completely human but have like gold eyes, or they can be fully fucking they can be purple with huge horns. You know what I mean? Like there's no definition. It's just like a mutation in their genes because they have demonic ancestry. That's all it is. They can have pink skin, they can have regular skin, they can look human to look monstrous. You know what I mean? But somehow these new age D&D players are all like talking shit about the movie and shit. Like this is not right, this is not accurate, and it's like you don't even know what you're talking about to make this fucking
Kind
thing. Like so like I feel like that's
of like
when
Marvel.
gatekeepers are supposed to be there and go like people got mad about like the Lady Thor shit. She was in the comics since 1961. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like these people don't know their own history of what they're fucking fighting for, and it's kind of sad to be honest. You know what I mean? So
And that
that's when gatekeeping is fucking useful. To let these newbies know, like, no, you're not gonna come in here and change shit around just because you have a new fucking take on it and shit like that.
and that and that's the problem that I'm dealing with, right? So when I look at hardcore games, I mean, people always say that Japanese games, and this is another thing too that I kind of wanted to address. People always say that Japanese games are, um, what is it? Japanese games are the harder games out there. You know, what I mean, they're more hardcore, and everything else is very casual and shit like that. Like, what do you have to say about that shit?
That Japanese games are more hardcore than other
Yeah,
games.
right.
I mean, I think that's all perspective. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's all perspective and your experience in gaming. Like, I don't think a lot of people even play a lot of games that even know what they're talking about. You get me?
Right.
So, like, if you do play a lot of Japanese RPG games, are you experiencing CRPGs? Have you played Divinity: Original Sin? Are you experiencing Forex games? Have you played fucking, Civilization? Have you played RTX games? Have you played fucking World of Warcraft? I mean Warcraft. Like, you know what I mean? Have you played racing games? Like, you can't make these statements when you only play a particular set of games. You know what I mean? How can you make a whole statement and say like that this is the hardest genre or whatever coming out of Japan when you haven't even played like let's say Warcraft 3 on fucking, the highest mode. Like there's no, I doubt many people can beat that shit. You know what I mean? Outside of like the pros. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
Any
right.
game can be super fucking hard. Like I was playing Chorus, that shit is fucking hard as shit. I play that shit on hard. That shit is hard as fuck. Like sometimes, you know what I mean? And then until you learn the mechanics and shit, and then you like, okay, you can still get by it. But mostly it's just fucking the skill. You know what I mean? Pure fucking reaction time and shit. You're flying around in this goddamn jet, dodging shit. Some people might say, "Oh, that's easy as fuck," and some people might say, "This is hard as hell." You know what I mean? So I think it's our perspective, and I think people have limited fucking experience with games to be even saying shit. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, games were super fucking hard, and there was no fucking save points and all this bullshit we have now. You know what I mean?
Fucking there was what was the Lion King and all the other shit, and they weren't Japanese game by nature. They were fucking horribly difficult. They were designed for you to spend money. It was all from the arcade, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, lineage, and that's what was going on. But you always get this situation where you have these people that, like you said, like you were saying before, they kind of gatekeep. But in this case, there's a lot of Japanese people that will gatekeep. So the new hotness, right, is the Souls games, and how difficult is that? And I know you got a lot to say about the Souls games. I know you got a lot of shit to say about the Souls games. So what you got to say about that in terms of its difficulty and
I mean,
balance?
I really don't have a lot of smoke for the Souls game because I really don't give a fuck about the Souls games. I'm gonna keep it a stack. You know what I mean? Like, I think the
It's good
Souls
enough
games
for
are
me.
super overrated. They're super over fucking like lauded as some kind of like standard for shit when the shit just has bad animations. Like it just has bad fucking graphics, reused animations. Like the whole Souls games is just dodging. You see people beat the game. Like this one dude just beat the game without dying, without taking one hit. You know what I mean?
And that's
He
the funny.
beat the game without getting hit one time. I mean, I'm pretty sure like he's good. I'm not saying that he's not good or not, but what I'm saying is like all that shit people are doing with all these builds and weapons and gear and stats and shit, you don't need any of that. That shit is all fluff and just useless to the game itself. There is no no, he beat the game without leveling, I think that's what he did. He
Yeah,
beat
it
the game
was.
without
It was.
leveling. And it's like in most games you have to level just because of how hard the game is, you know what I mean? This game is purely based on your ability to dodge. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you can dodge, you can beat any Souls game. It's all about timing. The
More,
whole game is based on timing.
or
So it's like,
a little bit more, just to add on to what you were saying. Not even just about dodging. It's about invincibility frames.
yeah, I mean, if you know how the game works and everything like that, you know how to like
That's
cheat
what I
shit.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
because when you dodge, you kind of, and the funny thing is, there's a plethora of information regarding the Souls games online. You know what I'm saying? That will tell you how to, to win the time, the roll. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's on some fugazi shit when you hear people say that this game is one of the most difficult games out there. And this is one of the reasons why Miyazaki and friends literally made this game, the Elden Ring, the way that it is. Because they deliberately with the animations, they'll wind up and hold that hit, hold it, and then do it to fuck up the timing for the people who are used to the game. Like the Souls games in general, because they barely change per iteration, regardless of what title it is it's well documented. You know what I'm saying? It's well documented. And that was the kind of conversation I had. I remember before Horizon Forbidden West came out, and that's one thing about Japanese games. Let me put this out here too. Japanese game has a tendency to be it's very formulaic, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people kind of like it, because if you can understand the formula, you can replicate it and get better at it and get better at it. A lot of Western games, a lot of European games are all purely based off of random chance and shit. And that's what, people actually kind of like don't like about Horizon as well, is that you can't there is no formula. You just got to be flat out good. You know what I mean? You got to be good at aiming, and you got to kind of understand the enemy and their animation cycles and stuff like that. But you're not going to start off the boss battle or a machine, and be thinking like this is the area where this machine happens. only, and it will always happen every single time. And that if you do this at this space, then you cause the enemy to do this. If I space this, space this much, you can't, the enemy won't do this. They don't work that way. One, there are places where enemies are designated, but then there's also surrounding enemies that will, be at random. And the praise that you hear about the Souls games and how this game makes you hardcore and it makes you a hardcore gamer. You know what I'm saying? For something that's so hardcore, it's just very funny that you have to go online and look up everything about the game before you can actually beat the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like some fugazi shit to me. I don't like how that operates. Like,
What's that? I don't have no smoke for the fucking Souls
it ain't the Souls fault, it's the
gamers
fucking
community.
community.
My thing is like any game could be like any. There's gonna be always a person in any game that's gonna be able to like just basically dominate the game, break the game. You know what I mean? But my thing is, it just shows you like in these Souls games, like all that shit you're doing is actually just pointless. You know what I mean? Like if you're actually good at the game, you wouldn't need the level, you wouldn't need to get this gear, you wouldn't need to get that weapon. You know what I mean? So it actually shows you how bad you actually are at the game, if anything. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, that's what makes
Because
people. That's what makes people want to, play the game with panties on and a fucking rag
that's what
and
I'm
beat the
saying.
Souls
Like
games.
the all that other shit is just all that mimic shit and all that shit people were doing, like you actually were not good at the game because this nigga just went through the game and just smashed it easily. You know what I mean? Not even leveling up. Like, so clearly, are you that hardcore if you can't beat the game? You know, like if you can't dominate and master the game, are you actually hardcore?
Well, the mimic situation is it was done because of balancing. You know what I'm saying? They went out on a limb and made the game more difficult. You know what I'm saying? That's what they ended up doing. They made it more difficult, but then they threw a whole bunch of save points out there, just willy nilly. They didn't even give a hell how they fucking put the save points out there. It to me, they did not know how to make an open world game, and they did not know how to transition the Souls games into an open world game as well. So I see this shit all the time, and it's like, I mean, so many people came out there. A lot of journalists came out there, was on some fugazi shit talking about, how much of a hardcore person you are while playing this game. So
That's what I'm saying. I mean, people are struggling to beat the game. This dude beat the game fucking handedly. You know what I mean? Like, I,
right,
I just, I just think that people like to be associated with things to give them themselves more clout. You know what I mean?
right.
So like since the fucking FromSoft games are always considered hard, if you beat that game, then I guess that makes you like hardcore. You know what I mean? So you can be so then your opinion therefore weighs more than other people's opinion. Like, oh, you're just a casual. You don't know shit. Have you ever beat a Souls game? Like, nigga, like it's not that hard. People beat Souls games all the fucking time. You acting like this is some achievement. You know what I mean? Like that's my problem with the Souls games is people give those games so much fucking weight just because they're perceived difficult they are when they're actually not that difficult. If you see some of these players just literally just fucking mop the game, dudes running around with sticks and fucking loincloths, you know what I mean? Just destroying the game. Like how hard is the game if somebody can do that to the game? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, it means that the game has a formula. That's what it really means. It has a
I
formula
don't,
that you can sit there, you can replicate all the time. That's
which
what
is
it
not a
fucking really
problem
means. It's
because
not a
it's like
problem,
playing Beat Saber. You know what I mean?
but don't say that it's the hardest game out there, and like don't say shit like that, because that's where you getting it fucked up. Too many people that just flagrantly just throw out, I'm a hardcore gamer and I'm a more skilled gamer than you, or even looking at trophies too. That's another fucking annoying thing. Looking at trophies and what do you call it? Looking at trophies and achievements and shit like that to prove a point. You know,
I I don't think that. I mean, this if you want to brag about having 100 platinums, I think that's dumb. But if you want to verify that somebody actually played the game, I think that's
oh
that's
yeah,
valuable to have
oh yeah,
trophies.
absolutely. It's going to be valuable
Like,
to have to at least mention that, but It
Even with Elden Ring, people were literally having other players come in their world and drop them weapons to get them to platinum. You know what I mean?
can you do
Like,
that?
yeah, like Luca did it. Like, she's one of the biggest Elden, and I think Bari did it too. Like, and these niggas are actually, you know what I mean, out here playing these games like that, those type of Souls games. So I think the whole thing is just the whole platinum thing, getting a platinum. Like people look up guides all the time. Like most people will have to look at a guide to actually get the platinum. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like it doesn't really matter if you have a platinum in the game. I guess. I mean, maybe you gotta brag about it. I mean, you still gotta do it, I guess. But like most people have said, they look it up. Like they don't know where this piece is at or how to beat this one thing. So they'll just go look it up and they'll get it. And then does that take away from your achievement that you didn't figure it out by yourself, or how does that work?
I mean, I feel like you shouldn't. I feel like that is an automatic disqualification if you needed that shit. If you ask me, I feel like that's an automatic disqualification.
Are you casual if you have to look at a strategy guide?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question because
I'm pretty sure at one point in time, every single person who games, you have to look some shit up at one point. Like some shit is just like makes no sense in some games. You know what I mean?
oh, I 100%,
There's
100%.
no way. There's no way people are just out here like I'm just beating games fucking first fly through. I don't have no problems, bro. No, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no way. Like some games are just intuitive, but some games just don't make any goddamn sense, and you have to look that shit up. So does that make you a casual because you couldn't figure out the game? You weren't hardcore enough to just beat it without having any help from anybody else? I don't know.
I mean, no, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, you are casual. You are casual. If you're doing that on a consistent level, yeah, I would say that you're fucking casual.
Well, what if you like say like if you're a mechanic, right? But you gotta look in the manual to fix some shit. Does that make you a casual
Yeah, but
mechanic?
you
Does
get
that make you
nigga,
unprofessional?
you get paid.
I'm
You get
I'm just
paid.
saying some of these gamers get paid.
See, you can look up something and then be done with it, but like there's a whole thin line between how people are acting right now when it comes to claiming that they're better than other people. You know what I'm saying? That shit to me is just so fucking fugazi. Like I really don't like that shit at all. And you get that shit a lot. You know, you get that shit a lot where people literally claim that, they're best in fucking class. They're best in class with this game. It happens a lot in the racing community for sure. I'm not racing. I'm sorry. In the like there are some games where if you do look up how to do certain things, it it really is telling. It's telling. You kind of need that shit, like you said. There are some games that are like that, and I think, truthfully, those games, I gotta give them. I gotta give those type of games. Like I'll say this: to play Gran Turismo, that's not an easy fucking game. Not an easy game. Not an easy game to play at all, and you kind of need to know what you're doing. If you're going to play that game, because even if you do learn where to turn, you still kind of gotta be. It's more to it than that. I'll say that much. It's more to it than that. So, but what about casual games though? That's another thing too. People kind of shit on the whole casual situation. Um, I feel like the funny thing is, and this is kind of talking about Sony sales. Casual players are the one that keeps the fucking gaming industry afloat because the fanboys ain't doing it. You know. So there's a lot of people that claim that they're hardcore and shit like that, and I don't know if they really that hardcore. Honestly, I don't know if they that hardcore. So I mean, do you have a bone to pick with these casuals?
I have no problem with so-called casual gamers. I don't even like they don't even concern me. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
why am I concerned about somebody who, like I said, barely plays video games?
True,
Like,
true.
they're not in the conversation with me. Like, there's people who like I said, there's people who watch baseball. There's people who watch baseball. You know what I mean? Like these niggas can quote you fucking stats from 1964 and shit. Like, yo, nah. That nigga hit a fucking .845 RBI. You know what I mean? Like niggas be out here like what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I like football a lot, but there's niggas who can tell you nigga what fucking their favorite running backs eat fucking nutritional regimen is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's a difference. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's like I don't conversate with those people. Like, I don't talk to like people who I know who don't game about games. Like, there's no point in that. You know what I mean? I don't go to my some of my coworkers, but hey, I know you don't even have a goddamn console or a PC, but I'm gonna start talking to you about the Last of Us 2 controversy. You know what I mean? Like that makes no sense. Like so, casuals can do whatever they want to do, wherever they do it. I don't care. I'm not talking to them. I don't associate with them. I have no problems with them. They just really don't exist to me. You know what I mean?
What's that dude's name again? Push up, pull up, or whatever the fuck the nigga name is?
Who? Post
Yeah,
up?
post up.
Nigga said push up.
He needs to
That
do some fucking push
I
ups.
mean, according to his own fucking gamer tag, he don't be playing these games. He be stunting. So,
That's what I mean, man. Like I don't
but
understand. I feel like some people are professional Twitter gamers.
he's a
Users,
he's a hardcore Twitter gamer.
you know, because you ain't doing nothing the fuck else. You know, excuse. Yeah, I don't see what the else you like. These niggas stay talking about games, and you have nothing to show for it. Like you have nothing to show for it. So why are you talking about that shit, yo? You know what I mean? That
All
shit is
right.
man. That shit mad weird, and it will always be weird to me. You know that shit's mad fucking fugazi. So I mean, all in all, when I look at the situation, I don't dislike um people that that game on that are casuals. I feel like here's the problem: if you're a casual gamer, you can't necessarily like you sampled everything. You know what I mean? As a casual gamer, and as somebody that's I consider if you consider yourself a hardcore gamer, put it that way. If you consider yourself a hardcore gamer, well, well, that's the problem here. If you consider yourself a hardcore gamer, um, let me just do this here. Then all of your efforts are going to be put onto that one game. That's the thing. I think people need to understand all of your efforts are going to be put on one game if you're a hardcore gamer versus somebody that kind of dabbles into many different games. And I don't feel like there's a fucking problem with either. But like I said before, this was created. This conversation was created because of that whole conversation with Horizon and how people consistently paint Horizon in such a poor light when it comes to gaming. And I mean, I don't necessarily care, but like, damn, that shit's annoying when people go out their way and say that the game really isn't that good. You know what I'm saying? And didn't even try to play the game. There's a lot of people that would actually say that shit. It's not a good game. I'm kind of bored of it, or whatever the case is. That's all I would hear all the time. Is that I'm bored with the game. And then when you ask them like why necessarily, they can't really explain why it's boring. All they can say is that I don't really like the game, and I feel like that's as a gamer that consider yourself hardcore, I don't like that shit. But it looks like I've exhausted that particular commentary. So moving on to the next, there was one situation. I was browsing the interwebs, right, and I did see somebody that actually kind of showed what next generation could possibly look like. And I wanted to kind of ask you, on a graphic standpoint, right? As a PC gamer, what would you consider next generation to be in your case?
What do you mean?
Like graphically, what would you consider it to look like?
I don't think we've seen anything that's next generation to me. I mean,
So if you think it wasn't, right? That we haven't seen anything, so what would you say it looked like?
I think this next generation game is gonna look like actual CGI, like true CGI. Like when we have that CGI fidelity that Final Fantasy Kingsglaive fidelity, then we're not gonna say we're next gen. You know what I mean? Like next gen to me needs to take another step up, another leap. You feel me?
Well, but what would you consider it though? What
Like,
would you say before I get into it? I'm starting to realize that um I'm starting to realize that next generation. I mean, I understand you said that, everyone says that next generation is going to, that we've already have it and stuff like that, but like there's too many people that kind of say that shit. You know what I'm saying? There are too many people that say that, or we haven't seen it yet, or we did, and no one can back anything the fuck up.
bro, when I'll give you so like when The Last of Us remaster came out, niggas was saying like this is the best looking game, yada yada yada. You know what I mean? Then Last of Us 2 came out. Why God, yo, this is the best looking game, yada yada yada. And now when you look on the comparisons between The Last of Us remake and The Last of Us remaster, the shit is stark. You know what I mean? Like the shit looks night and day. The other shit looks like claymation, in my opinion. Like
It's a
that's why
claymation.
I feel when I see these gamers always constantly talking about how good things look on consoles, and this is like the pinnacle of graphics, I'd be like, not even close. Like the PS5's hardware is already fucking about to be 2 generations behind PC. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like the consoles got the jump with the new tech when they first came in with the PCI 5.0, but now PC is about to surpass that shit tenfold. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like the there's always so much room, and people take these games the way they look, and then like they try to make them seem like they're better than what they are. If you look at some of the Nvidia demos, like you're like this shit is night and day from what the shit looks like on console. You know what I mean? Like the Infiltrator demo, that shit is ridiculous. But like I still see hair clipping. You know what I mean? We don't have true actual like equipment physics, you know what I mean? Like capes and shit and cloaks don't flow the way they should. Like there's so much shit that the games are missing and lacking that I make it next gen, and I think people give these games too much too much like praise just because it's on their favorite system.
what game are
You know
you
what I mean?
referring to?
Any game. Like there's no game to me that deserves like this next gen crazy praise. Like Horizon is like probably one of the better looking game as far as like visuals go, and people already like the game of the year of fucking what you call it fights between God of War and fucking Elden Ring, which you haven't even seen fucking God of War really, right? And Elden Ring, we all seen Elden Ring, and that shit is very lacking on a lot of animations and everything across the board, right? So I feel like this whole next gen argument is like just so pointless. I mean, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart looks good, but like it looks cartoony. I think people are looking for the more like the Callisto Protocol type of graphics. You know what I mean? More super realistic. And have you seen that? You seen Callisto Protocol, right?
Hmm.
That CGI is fucking phenomenal.
Is it
Now, if
CGI or is it what the game actually
the
looks like?
cutscenes, nah, the cutscenes, those are cutscenes. Like most of it is cutscenes. You know what I mean? When they're showing you the things.
What about Rift
Like,
Apart? Oh, this dude said, "What about Rift Apart? What about
no,
it,
I'm saying
nigga?"
like Ratchet and Clank looks good, but like, is it actually next gen? Like,
So here's the thing. This is one thing about you, Jemiah, that you tend to kind of get into, and it always kind of fall. And that's I get it, but you always kind of bring it to the whole console situation, Um, but that's the point. The game is an example of a current generation stuff. So let me ask you though, how do you feel? I mean, we're not talking about explicit console shit. You know what I'm saying?
but when you guys keep saying next generation, but the consoles were built on old ass tech already. Like before the consoles come out, they're already outdated. You know what I mean? So for me, how can it actually be next gen? Like, how can it be in the
Well,
next gen when
well,
you're
it's not.
already
It's not. I
behind
mean,
gen?
I'm already. Well, I mean, semantics and all, right? I'm not necessarily talking about next gen because we are currently in current gen. That's just that's what it is. But the thing is, let's say current gen. Do you think these consoles are maxed out?
Right now, I think Horizon's probably gonna be one of the better looking games throughout the entire generation of these consoles. Like I just don't see how much I don't see the overhead that people claim that's there. You know what I mean? Like you get what I'm saying?
I get exactly
Like
what you're
people
saying, and that's why
people keep
that's
saying like wait till the game is only gonna be made for PS5. Then you're gonna really see. I don't think that you're gonna get better than Horizon. Horizon like when you look at Horizon like the character models and the way they're fucking rendering shit. Some of the best looking shit you're seeing out there right now. You know what I mean? And then the Last of Us remake is built from the ground up on the PS5. The graphics do look really good, but like I think you're reaching the cap already on how these games are gonna look. You know what I mean?
I don't think what Naughty Dog is doing is any type of indicator of next generation right now. I think they're spread too thin anyway. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, if you really want to know how I feel about it, not because of Naughty Dog, but in general, I feel like I don't feel like they're the tentpole like you know developer that they used to be. Whatever debacle happened, I don't something was lost. Because they were like The Last of Us Part Two looked insane when it came out, and they're saying that this game in particular is basically like it's built from the ground up, and they were talking about what they call it, they get crunchables or chippables or some dumbass shit that they were saying. I don't, I wasn't impressed by that at any capacity. That when I look at that, it looks like The Last of Us Part. It looks like The Last of Us Part Two. Or you just that's what you ended up doing. Um you just literally just used the assets from The Last of Us Part Two and made it 60 frames a second and kept it moving. I mean, I know some people are gonna get their feelings hurt by hearing that shit, but I still feel like Horizon is probably the better.
They're using the Last of Us 2's engine, so it wouldn't
No, they're
make
not
sense
even
for
just
the
using
game
the
to be
engine.
dramatically different.
They're not even just using the engine. You know what I mean? They're using like the same assets. I still
Yeah,
feel
but
like they're
the actual source assets are super highly rendered, so I can see why they're still using those assets because the resolution that you're getting from the PS4 to the PS5 is a big difference. So the assets are gonna pop better. You know what I mean? They're gonna pop more. They're gonna show more detail. You're gonna be able to see more shit. So I think when you actually get if you actually buy the game, it'll probably be better. You know what I mean? If you bought the game and watching YouTube videos to see the actual difference. But I
possibly.
think yeah, because like I said, the models they use for the game are way higher rendered than the actual game can display. You know what I mean? Because the game's like
Yeah,
what
they
some
they
weird ass resolution.
they're using
So
this game is supposed to be 4K. There's no like
yeah,
it's
exactly. I'm talking
it's,
about like
it's
the Last of Us Part Two. Though didn't it wasn't actual like true 4K, right? Or actual native 4K on
it's
the
just.
PS4.
But here's the thing though, the best models that they had for CGI, it still doesn't. Horizon's models, Ratchet and Clank's models, Spider-Man models, they all look better than The Last of Us, and they already were released, in my opinion. If I guarantee you, if we did the polygonal uh, uh, counts for all of them, both of those games will exceed anything that's in The Last of Us. Not only that, but they have some extremely complex environments. Let's not forget that Horizon and Miles Morales is an open world game and have those models. You know what I'm saying? And then you really can't do much more with Ratchet and Clank because it's a cartoon game. You know? I mean, what do you expect? And it's not about a Naughty Dog situation. This is
Hey,
more along.
you can go deeper with Ratchet. Ratchet and Clank could have Pixar. You know what I mean? That Pixar level of fucking graphics, you like, god damn, this shit look crazy. You know what I mean? Like the fur and shit. Like sometimes you could be like, wow, like these Pixar fucking movies look super realistic for that art style. You know what I mean?
I mean, it looks nice. You know what I mean? Like I will say that Ratchet and Clank is like best in class for what it's doing. You know what I mean? For sure. I ain't gonna sit there and say that it's not. That ain't my MO. You know. But ultimately, when I look at the game, uh, I always wondered to myself, like, how many, like, how deep can we go? And I don't think this is like a situation where, um, I feel like people ain't giving it, is people ain't giving it as just desserts. You know what I'm saying? People are just, when it comes to next generation or when it comes to current generation, people are like literally downplaying it. I feel like they can do better, but it's the question has always been by how much, you know, how far can you go,
You can
you
only
know?
go as far as the hardware will allow you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're saying that these consoles are maxed out,
I'm not
you
saying
know,
they're maxed out. I'm saying
or
that
near maxed out.
what people think that they're gonna get is not gonna be what they're gonna get. You know what I mean?
So you told me, right, at its best case on PC, right? What exactly are you're expecting from PC? We're not even using like destructibles and shit like that. What are you expecting from PC?
I'm not expecting anything from PC. Is PC is just a platform.
No shit, but like, what are you expecting for like when you get your graphics card, right? When you get your newest graphics card, right? What are you expecting graphically that'll blow you
I'm
away?
expecting. I'm not expecting things to blow me away. What I'm expecting is to play that game at the highest fidelity. That's what I expect when I get the highest graphics card. That makes sense.
So when you
Like I have no illusions that just because the game is on PC, it's gonna somehow look magical if the devs don't do that. You feel what I'm saying? So like Spider-Man on PC, I expect when I get that 4090 and that new fucking Intel Raptor Lake CPU, and I throw that shit in there with a 64 gigs plus, you know what I mean? I expect that shit to sing. I expect that shit to be 4K 60 locked, ray tracing, every bells and whistles, maxed out, everything they can put in there, every setting I could put to max. I expect that shit to work perfectly. That's what I expect. I don't expect the game to be somehow magically enhanced just because it's on PC.
well, I
But
never I never said
I
that
mean,
though.
no, but that's the way people think. Like, oh, it's on PC, so it should look like this. No, it should look the way the devs made the game. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, that's the
let's
only
talk
thing
about
you
what
can.
can.
Yeah,
Well, let's
I
talk
don't.
about. My bad. I was going to say, let's talk about what do you believe that the developers can do? You know,
I think
I'll
like
tell you,
just.
and I'll share what I think that they can do, or what would make a game feel next generation to me.
I think they need to have like lasting environmental uh effects, right? So like if you like say you use some monster or whatever, some fucking person, you jump down and you smash the cement and it has that like that broken effect. I expect that pothole to be there until the game ends or until somebody fixes it, right? I want to see permanent results of you being in this world, not just fake shit where you shoot the bullets in the wall and then they just disappear after a while because it's taking up resources. You know what I mean? Like I expect physics to actually be physics. I expect shit to move the way it's supposed to move. I expect the lighting to be real time ray traced. Like I don't want this fake ass lighting shit anymore. You know what I mean? I expect the game to breathe and live as like a real game. That's what I want the games to be. I mean, outside of graphics, you know what I mean? Like the world needs to feel realistic. It needs to actually live and breathe, and it needs to be next gen. Shit shouldn't be disappearing. You know what I mean? If you dump fucking 200 fucking rounds in the fucking ground, I want the shells to be rolling around until I leave that level or whatever. I can't come back to that level. You know what I mean? I want niggas to slip on the shells, nigga. There's so many shells on the ground. You feel me? Like I need shit to make sense and be realistic. You know what I
Well, you
mean?
know damn well they can't do all that shit in any capacity. You know what I mean? In any
They
fucking
can
system,
to a certain
they
degree.
they don't to a certain degree. But I'm talking what you're describing is isn't you need memory, a lot of it, and more than 46. or 44 or whatever the fuck that's coming out. You know what I'm saying?
120. The fucking the 4090 Ti is rumored to have 48 gigabytes of
48,
GDR6X.
yeah, 48. You know, you need more than that if you
Yeah,
talk about
but
some persistent world.
that's why you have RAM though. Like the
That's
RAM
fine.
does most of the like, so I can have 128 gigabytes of RAM too on top of my fucking memory. Then have fucking you know what I mean? So then have VRAM on top of that. So they can do a lot of shit, trust me. It's like you ever seen that real time NVIDIA like Fabrics demo?
A long time. Well, there was one
When
I've
like
seen.
there's like a dude with a cape. It's like just like a regular mannequin with a cape on, but there's no clipping and shit.
I saw one with it was like these women with dresses on and they were flipping it around and shit.
Like it takes a lot to render that type of shit, and that's why there's clipping in games because it's a lot of resources. You know what I mean? So it's like we need the hardware to catch up to what these devs can actually do because sometimes clipping is not an issue, but sometimes it just takes you out of the game for a second. You know what I mean? Like you just look like, oh, this shit's clipping and shit. You know what I mean?
Especially when the
It,
game
it
starts gets more and more realistic looking.
yeah, exactly. Like so like it'll just take you out of the game for a second. I don't want that. I want to be fully immersed like night like just like in this shit. I want like you said, I want real time weather, real time fucking if we're in an open world game or outside, I want the shit to be realistic. I want weather patterns to be realistic. I want the sun to rise and set realistically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm about true immersion, not about all this other like surface level shit that people just say, "Oh, you just want high graphics." That's not the actual end all be all. You know what I mean?
Well, I was referring to graphics, and you know, me playing Gran Turismo, um, made me kind of criticize the game a little bit more. I never thought it looked next generation. I always said it looked damn good and best in class, but you could do more. And no one seems to ever know what can you do. So I started thinking about this shit. I'm like, you know what? What would make a game next generation to me? I mean, it really make it look like this generation was worth it. Is the density of the environment. A lot of this shit is really sparse, you know. There's a lot of repetition, or there's a lot. It's really sparse. So using Gran Turismo as a rubric, the grass blades are fucking sparse. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Ghost of Tsushima, there's a lot of grass blades there, and it goes far out. But that's some big ass fucking grass blades, and that's not how grass looks in reality. You know what I'm saying? So it takes like a stylistic view. But if you're talking about realism, I'm expecting no more billboard cutouts for trees and shit like that. You know what I mean? In the immediate vicinity, I'm expecting leaves and shit like that. You know, I'm expecting dust. You know, I'm expecting a whole bunch of shit like that, and we just don't have any of it. There's still room for improvement in the environments. It's too sparse looking.
There's tons of room, but like when the Unreal 5 demo came out, people are like, "We reached the pinnacle of graphics." Like, nigga, are you smoking crack? Like, come on.
Because
Like,
lighting will always trick people, and when you start breaking it down, I don't know what game. Do you know what this game is? He says, what was the name of the game that Steam's most wish list game? Is it the day before or some shit like that?
oh, that one game. It looks like kind of like Days Gone, and it's like a zombie apocalypse or some shit happening.
What
I
was
mean,
so what was so good about it?
I don't know. I mean, it looks cool, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it looks like a zombie game to me.
I'm
The,
not
the
mad at it. I just
CGI,
don't know much
there's
about it.
some good. It has good looking cutscenes from what I've seen. You know what I mean? But like, people get caught up on the cutscenes a lot, like especially like in Uncharted and shit like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
These in-game cutscenes be having niggas fool. You know what I mean? They be having niggas think shit look better than what it is.
Let me think here.
I just need all textures to be fucking crisp. You know what I mean? I need shit to fucking react, the environment to react realistically. Like,
I I played, and this is why you may have seen me play Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not because I love it that much, because I was kind of trying to prepare myself to see what the difference is between the two. You know what I mean? And I would look at it. I'm like, what the fuck? Why does this game look so much worse than Forbidden West? Not to say that's the best looking game ever, but I did ask myself that question. Why exactly does Zero Dawn look so much worse than Forbidden West? I never could answer that question. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to it, the trees didn't even fucking move in the background at a certain distance. Um, there wasn't that many fucking trees. Everything felt truncated and close together. You know, um, it didn't feel like an open area. It always felt more. It just didn't feel that impressive comparatively. When you turn on Horizon Forbidden West, you got pollen in the air, you got bugs, all this shit. The trees is being whipped around by wind. You got the water going on, or the streams and shit. It's really fucking crazy the stuff that you see in this fucking game all at once. And I still feel like there's room for improvement. And I'll get into it. Let me read this question here. From what I remember, it's like a survival type horror game similar to The Division, in which you even have to take account how many mags you have in your arsenal to what do you say to get mud on the tire. So it's like really survival horror. I could fuck with that shit, yo. I'm gonna have to look into it. And what is it called again? Um, the day before. What was it?
I'm not even sure.
He says the day before. I'm gonna check that out right now. Um, the way that they constructed the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, right? The reason why they even used the memory that they used in the first place is because they could swap assets out very quickly. And if that's the case, what's going to make people really feel like it's a really next generation experience is if you have a lot of shit on the screen at once. That's what the day before. That's what I think is going to be. I don't know. I mean,
It's like
there's
that. It was like it was that with that Unreal Engine Matrix demo. Like that shit is fucking
which game?
taxing. The Unreal Matrix demo, whatever.
Oh,
That shit is taxing on the system, bro. You know what I mean?
the reason
Like,
why it's taxing because they don't use the system, the actual GPU or well, they don't use the GPU to spit out the polygons. They have their own software renderer for that. But them actually using their own software renderer allows them to have a lot of flexibility, like the nanite, you know. So there's that. So the Unreal Engine 4 or 5 rather, it's gonna always be kind of taxing to a system, and specifically systems that you know are that are a little slower in nature. So people always think that, and maybe it's you too, that the sensible person thinks that the PS5 and the Series X is going to keep up with a fucking PC. They're not keeping up with the what is it 3090s. They're not anywhere near there.
I think talk to somebody in the chat. Are you? Because I'm like, you're not talking about me.
Yeah, you.
Why would I think that the consoles could keep up with the PC when
No, no.
when
I
they
said that.
came
I
out,
said that. I
they
said
were
you
even
think that.
better?
No, I'm saying that you think that that sensible person generally
Oh,
thinks that. You know.
I, I think people just want to be proud of something they bought. You know what I mean?
Be
And I
proud
get
of that
it.
shit.
Hmm.
Be proud of it. So I mean, you know what I mean?
But nigga,
You know,
I don't buy a
it's,
dirt bike and think it's gonna be fucking beating fucking a Hayabusa though, right?
yeah, like right.
Like I
It
live in
has its
reality
own
though.
it has its own like things. You can't take a Hayabusa. What is it called?
Hayabusa.
Hayabusa into a
That's
dirt
the one
track.
with yeah.
I know what you mean. I just never knew. I like when you said it. I know what it is. I think they have it in Drive Club DLC with the motorcycles. You can't take that shit into a fucking dirt trail. You know, but you can take a dirt bike into that bitch. Let it stay in its lane. You know? I don't
People can't do
understand.
that.
I
That's why.
don't
That's
get
why I
it.
always say like I get sick of hearing that when niggas be like PC niggas always trying to be in the conversation. Y'all niggas constantly are talking about the consoles being better than PC all the goddamn fucking time. Like it ad nauseum. You know what I mean? All the time. Oh, look at the Unreal demo. It's only made for PS5. Look at this game, only made for PS5. This game can't run on fucking PC. Yeah, all this dumb shit all the fucking time. And then when PC come out with some crazy shit, well, it costs fucking $25,000. So there you go. Okay, why are you talking though?
You get more
You know what I mean?
you get more bang for your buck when you buy a console. That's
Who
about it.
cares?
There's
Like
some there are some
if you
people
own a
that care.
if you own a Bugatti, nigga, it doesn't matter. You still could only drop the speed limit. You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is niggas
We're
who have
talking, but you don't.
Ferraris. No, when niggas get a Ferrari, nobody says that's a waste of money. That's too much money. It just costs a lot of money. I can use my Honda to go fucking back and
Because
forth
it's
to
a
work. You know
status.
what I mean?
It's all about the status too.
It doesn't matter though. My thing is like you can't have one argument for one thing and not have the same argument for the same fucking thing. So if I go out there and spend fucking 10K on a PC and my shit's better than yours, nigga, just let it be better, nigga. You know what I mean? Why does the
Status
cost matter?
consoles and PCs are not. That ain't even in the same bracket.
What
That
are you
ain't
talking
even in the
about?
same bracket. What I mean in terms of using them shits as a status item, they're not status. You know what I mean?
To who? PC dudes brag about having all the fucking power all the time. Have console niggas not spent 2 generations bragging about T-flops? Am I lying? Have you niggas not spent 2 years at nauseum talking about specs, fucking heating, fucking what's this shit called, thermal cooling or whatever, fucking mercury, whatever bullshit you niggas is talking about? Have your niggas not?
Liquid.
Yeah, have your niggas not spent fucking time at nauseum talking about graphics? Have you not?
But
Don't
it's
say
not.
you
It's
haven't.
not. But it's not status. And
What do you
status,
mean?
you can
Having the
use.
better consoles not having a status?
I can't go to a fucking expensive fucking restaurant in New York and be like, well, I got a PC, I got a 3090 or a 40, whatever the fucks. You know what I'm
You
saying?
can't
They
go there
don't
with
give
a
a
fucking.
fuck.
If you say you have a Bentley, it doesn't matter either.
It does matter. Come on,
And
man.
so if you have a Bentley outside but no money to buy the food, you think you're just gonna get free food?
Well, no, I'm not saying you're gonna get free food, but people will respect you. This is a status thing that's beyond, you know, a pleasure situation. You know
No,
what I
when
mean?
niggas
Recreation.
when real PC niggas see niggas with real rigs, they get respect. Like, yeah, I respect that nigga.
Yeah,
They get
and
out of crazy ass PC.
within a certain community, but this is like widely known, widely spread. That if you have a Bugatti or whatever the case is, people are going to look at you differently.
But if you have a Bugatti and you're in the
It's
middle of
more
the
money.
Amazon, you think
It's
niggas give
more
a
money
fuck?
though. It's more money
If
though. Let's be
no,
real.
if you have a Bugatti and you're in the Amazon, you think niggas care?
I'm talking about when people are flaunting it, right?
Yeah, everything's situational, nigga. You can flaunt and you can flaunt something somewhere that
Yeah,
don't have
but it's only going
any
the
cultural
PC,
status in
but
that
the
place.
PC is going to only be contained in that particular space. Where a car is many spaces will respect you. I shouldn't have to explain that shit. You know this shit.
Not really.
I get what you saying.
You just going by Western standards. I'm going by JRPG standards, nigga. You know what I mean?
Man, ain't nobody give a fuck about no damn
I'm
JRPG
just saying
people.
though,
Nah, stop
it's
this.
the same concept, bro. And we
The
talk about the
concept,
car
yes,
community,
yes, yes,
we
yes.
talk about the car community, and
The
we
car
talk about the
community
gaming
is
community,
the
nigga.
car community is way like bigger
Some
in
people
terms
don't
of
give a
that.
fuck about cars or care how much your car costs.
This
That's
is true.
period. You know what
This
I
is
mean?
true, but
So what I'm saying is,
it's more people that care than not.
well, when niggas see my 4090 Ti, they gonna care, nigga. How about that?
No, no.
Yeah, niggas gonna be like, damn, that PC is crazy.
People are gonna say that, you know, like you ain't getting no bitches because you got a, what was it, a 40? What is it? What is
How do
it?
you know? 4090 Ti?
A 40? What is it? 4090?
Yeah,
You ain't gonna get no bitch with a 4090.
bet money.
All right, I can't wait till you
I'd be
get it.
like, bitch, I got a 4090. What's up?
Shit, you wow, that'd be funny as shit though. You know, on a dating app, you just put the 4090 in that shit, yo. They be like, I mean, no need fucking thirsty bitches.
They probably don't
They
even
probably
they probably
already
don't even know what
it
it is or care, but that's the point though.
No, but
Is
I get what you're saying. in terms of, I don't know. I can't speak for the idiots. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for idiots. I was fascinated with what the console can do based off of the tools that they had. Not thinking that it was going to blow PC out the water. I don't know how anybody can fathom that their $400 console is going to do anywhere near it. See, people are getting. See, here's the problem: the developers are not utilizing the PC to the point where people got shit fucked up. You know what I'm saying? People think that just because you throw some extra textures or have a high res, you know what I'm saying? High res shadows and shit like that. That's the maximum what a PC could do, or that the game is kind of chugging at 60 frames 4K. You know what I'm saying? People got that shit fucked up. The game is not optimized for the PC. Period. It's more optimized for the consoles, and the consoles are almost. I mean, the PCs are basically like emulating the fucking consoles. They have to go through so many steps and layers just to make that game work. You know what I mean? And it's just basically brute forced. And I'm looking at it now. It kind of reminds me, like, I don't like the art style of the day before, but the concept of it is pretty badass. But yeah, like the PCs could do way more than the highest fucking acclaimed game. And that's including Horizon. It'd stomp mud holes in that shit if somebody actually used it. Like somebody put their, if a developer put their mind to that shit. They look, bro. That shit is. What would that look like? Let me ask you that. If somebody put their mind to these 4090s, what exactly in budget? If somebody gave a developer $500 million in straight, development, and say have that the 4090, what would that look like? Yo, what's going on, Scorpy?
That shit would look like fucking the best CGI you ever seen. It would shit look like
It would
fucking
look like CGI. It would probably look somewhere north of like the Avengers. It would look around there. That's what I will
like
believe.
look at the Star Wars Last Jedi with the Captain Phantasma. You know the chick, the silver fucking the silver stormtrooper chick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like
that was
chromed out.
all done in the Unreal Engine. You know what I mean? In
But
the
I
elevator
still,
scene.
but yeah, but that's an elevator. You know what I'm saying? I think it
That's what
could
I'm
do.
saying though.
I think it could do
You're
better.
gonna
It could like
no.
if they
That's what I'm
did that,
saying.
they could do that with the console though.
No, you can't do that.
Yes, they could. If they've
You
not ren-
render that? No,
if they're not
they couldn't even render that on regular graphics cards. They can't render that on console.
if they
You can show it on console, but the actually render the image itself, no, they have to do that on a fucking on a supercomputer to do that shit.
what is causing it?
What do you mean?
What's causing that to be like so heavy? What
It's
is it?
just
Is it the
it's
ray tracing? The what reflections after?
everything. The whole entire scene is created through computers. Now you're like, there's no real people there. That's what I'm saying. Like the render all that shit in real
Oh,
time
I
and have
mean,
everything moving.
but I
Like
don't.
there's a 4090 couldn't even do that shit. Like it takes fucking.
But okay, so I haven't seen it and haven't looked into it other than pictures. So the pictures that I've seen, you could fake that. But if you're talking, I have to look at it again. But I guess the answer would be that's what I mean. What next generation? What would next generation look like? And I feel like the answer isn't necessarily CGI. It's like what makes CGI CGI. Like for instance, I'll pull up this right. Um, Let me pull this up here. Let me see. Horizon. Forbidden West. Um, CGI trailer. The fuck is it?
Was it the cinematic trailer?
Yeah. Do I have to type that shit in? Probably. That shit's ass. Let me
That's
see.
it. That's the image from right there.
Yeah. I can't spell cinematic worth a damn. That's all right. You found it. It's
Like,
just
you know what makes the cinematic trailers and shit so good? There's the physics of the actual models are 100% legit. You know what I mean? Like her hair is not clipping at all. You know what I mean?
that's what I
Like
mean. So I'm gonna get into this, right? I'm gonna find it.
that's what I've
So
been saying.
no, I know you've been. I never denied it.
Okay, nigga, give me my flowers, nigga.
So for this particular trailer that you guys see, let me see. Hold on,
That shit looks ridiculous. She doesn't even look like Aloy in the game.
no. Well, it's a different model. So like, for instance, let me just go back.
And for the good of
Oh shit, that's too long, too loud. Okay, mute this. Like this shit right here. You see how dense? You see how much shit is on the screen at once? That's a lot of shit on the screen. That's a lot. That's a lot of shit that's on the screen. That is not. You can't replicate that. I feel like we can get close. I'll put it that way. That's the density that I'm referring to. I'm referring to that type of density. You know, like something like this, even though this is a plain area, the amount of shit that's going on, and you know, I mean, you got Peach Fuzz, and where's my shit? There you go. You know, we got something similar, but it looked bald headed. You know, that's all I'm saying. It looked bald headed. But you got this, which doesn't really look like Aloy at all. I don't know why it doesn't, but like her hair is not plastic. You know what I mean? It's literally
Mm.
individual strands. You know what I'm saying? The Trimichusk is already like detailed and shit like that in general, but the type of detail that's out here is completely like it's in the fire too. I think that we can get close to it. I guarantee you. I'll put money on something that could be this, not the texture quality or the lighting necessarily, like ray tracing shit. I think that we can get to the density of it. That's what I believe. You know, we're not going to get ray tracing. That ain't going to happen. But something like this, that scene of it being this dense, because the polygonal model that they have for the characters are already crazy. But if you look at the stone that she's on, it's probably extremely small items on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even when she picks this shit up or whatever the case is, that's a lot of shit going on. This CGI trailer was probably expensive as hell. Let me see here. She does the backflip. I want to get to the point where she like turns around with the hair. There we go. Ain't no hair doing that shit. Ain't nothing like that because it has that frayed look at the end instead of looking like completely plastic and shit. You know, I forgot how good that shit looked. Even like when it comes to like, they had to put that shit on there. You saw that shit? Not gameplay. Chill, nigga, chill. You
Like I
know.
said, I think we're still like 10 years plus away from shit like this in game.
Well, that's what I mean. Like some of the lighting, I will say this. Some of the lighting is definitely, well, all of the lighting. The thing that kills me about what we may actually encounter. This is the thing that kind of kills me about what we may encounter, right? Um, I feel like the ray tracing that we have, I don't like. I feel like, I mean, and we may not be, but to have ray tracing on a regular and not use like some screen space effects and stuff like that, I feel like we're 2 generations away from that shit. To be 4K or anything close to 4K, running at 60 frames a second, and doing these ray tracing effects, unless they can find a way to kind of cheat it, I don't feel like we're ready. I don't feel like we're ready. I don't see it. I don't see it, man.
Yeah, I agree. We're still a ways off, but shit does look good. Like, but we like even in the like Final Fantasy VII remake, when you see the CGI compared to the actual game, it's a big difference too. You know what I mean? Like the end and shit,
Right,
you're like,
right.
damn. Like, why couldn't you know what I mean? Like, it's a big guys difference. Like, so when people always say like, "Yo, it's never gonna get better than this," I'm like, "Are you stupid?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
Like
Like
really,
that's the
let's
dumbest. I hate that shit when people say that shit. Like,
let's be fucking honest. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? I like at first I ain't gonna hold you. When I first saw Horizon, it wasn't like I thought that we can get any better than this. Like it's that good. I just don't know how they can improve upon it. That in this generation and on that console is where it was like, I don't know how we can. I don't know how we can improve upon that shit.
that's why I
That's
said like people like, yo, Horizon looks good, but it's cross gen. Wait till you get it just PS5 only. Wait, like, what
I
are you
told
waiting
you what
for,
I
nigga?
told
Like,
you what's going to
they're
happen.
not gonna be able to do.
It's going to be dense. It's going to be a lot more dense, especially when they be able to swap out the
Ratchet and Clank was PS5 only. I mean, so was Returnal.
yeah, but here's the thing though. The technology that they're using, they didn't use the SSD to that degree that they were talking about. And you could tell they didn't use it because they were able to put a much slower SSD and it did the same fucking thing. So they have a lot of overhead to swap assets, when you're not looking or whatever the case is. Like the console may not be able to do a certain amount of assets on the screen at once, but it will be able to swap that shit out while you're turning the camera. Like put all the detail that's behind you in front of you, and as you're turning that shit around, they be able to unload or erase, I should say, the memory that is that you're turning away from, and load up the new assets for the stuff that you're about to look at. That's what I believe that they will be able to do, and then we'll get that shit. And then next generation will probably be a little bit more mainstream for 1440p with some sort of deep.
1440p.
Yeah, well, listen, like 1440p, but with like what is it? Deep learning. What is it? DLSS.
Yeah, or what's
Some.
that? FSR.
I think they're going to start going into AI in that realm. I feel like it's going to be some sort of a hybrid where they don't need that much transistors to make that happen. It'll still use part of the frames and some sort of AI, not to the degree of NVIDIA, but something, you know what I mean? Like in the middle, like to bridge the gap or whatever to clean up any kind of artifacts. But I feel like we'll be able to use 1440p and then reconstruct the fucking image to 4K to do like because what is that game called again? Metro Exodus is using global illumination, and it runs at 60 frames a second, and it has the physics and shit like that. It doesn't. It's not the best looking game, but it has the ray tracing and shit like that there. So I could see them kind of playing around with that shit as well. I could see that. I could see that. You know what I'm saying? But I would. So that's really it. I wanted to talk to you really quickly before you jump out of here and shit like that about something totally different. So, and thanks everybody. Hit that like button, by the way. I'm pretty sure you guys did. You guys are pretty decent supporters as well. So yeah, you guys did me justice. Um, I want to say this, right? So I'm always trying to improve myself and trying different um, and this is like fucking learning how to do a YouTube channel in real time and shit. But I've been trying different things, right? And one of the things that I've noticed is that um, toxicity is what brings people there, but I don't want that much toxicity. So, what do you think I should be doing with the YouTube channel and its subjects?
I mean, I don't know if you can have the gaming and the illicit therapy on the same channel.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean? So I know, I think I heard you say that anything, but like, I don't think it's gonna work because people who get turned off by that type of shit aren't gonna come to see your gaming shit. You know what I mean?
I feel like here's my and I'm just talking about this in general, but I feel like there are a lot of people that are extremely awkward when it comes to just human interaction, right? And they are typically gamers, you know. And as a gamer myself, there are some, red pill shit that I look at in general, just because I'm kind of realizing something isn't right. I could do two things at once, in terms of the simps. Let them motherfuckers fall off like them fucking monkeypox scabs. Let them shit fall off. Because I'm not really trying to fuck with fake ass people in general. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that I don't want to really interact with anymore. So that's why I kind of pulled the trigger and was like, fine, I'll do it. And whatever takes hold and root is the thing that I'm going to focus on. So I wouldn't mind doing both. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of the allow discussion, um, I try to keep the subjects a bit tame. You know what I mean? And what I'm noticing is the engagement. I'm clearly looking at the engagement in real time, and people are not that receptive to it. Although, what about the Twitter, YouTube at the same time situation?
I mean, I don't. I think it's not gonna. I don't know if it's gonna help your actual YouTube channel, but you're gonna get a lot of more Twitter followers and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Um, yeah,
Because if people are in the spaces and shit, they're not gonna. They're not also watching the YouTube video at the same time. You know what I mean?
no, the YouTube videos just for the archive and shit like that. You know what I'm
But I
saying?
mean, I think you're getting a lot of traction in there. But like I said, there's a lot of knuckleheads that jump in these spaces just to be in the spaces. Just you know what I mean, so they can get attention or whatever the hell they want to get out of it.
Oh
So
yeah,
if you
nobody
can
watch the other
deal
shit.
with that, if you can deal with that, then I mean, I would just keep doing it. But it's kind of annoying, like you said.
This whole like, I mean, I was trying to keep it clean, and just the nature of people are just is they're just too negative to want to have like real discussions. They would rather talk about, like, I could see why Thrash and other people, what do you call that dude again? Oh no, it's Alex. I can see why they kind
Mm.
of go to that. It's funny because it's like, I don't want you to do that. That's what people say. I don't want to be in the toxicity, but at the same time, they can't help themselves. You know, they can't help themselves. They need to be a part of that. All the hate that people say is just like the people with the DLC and shit like that. They always say that I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But then they're always there. So
Yeah.
it's hmm?
No, it's like yeah, the niggas love to be in the conversation, but always have some dumb shit to say.
So I'm just that's something that I'm gonna be kind of working on. I think I need to add a little bit more toxicity to. I think I'll still, now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm going to control the spaces a lot better. Still do the YouTube thing because there are people that they actually do watch YouTube over Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And people do like the whole toxicity and shit like that as well. But I'm not trying to go towards toxicity. It's more along the lines of, I just kind of, I don't know. I feel like people are addicted to that shit, man. They're addicted to console wars, when it comes to this shit. But one more thing, though, you mentioned you think that the illicit therapy and the gaming shit should be separate. Could you elaborate on that, other than the people that may not like it?
I mean, I just think it convolutes your videos and your whole playlist and everything. You know what I mean? It just makes things complicated because they're like two totally different type of topics. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they're low. They're labeled.
Yeah, but like you know what I'm saying? Like I think it just turned. It was just like it gets convoluted. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't know, like I don't know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to do with either or channel, but you need to have a separate channel to cultivate different audiences. You know what I mean? So I think that
Uh,
listen therapy shit, I've been listening to it like on my at work and shit. And I think he has some good shit going on. I think you know what I'm saying. I think he has some legs there,
hmm.
but I don't think it works. I don't think it's gonna work if you keep it on your gaming channel. That's what I'm trying to say.
So
Cause
which
like
one?
also like you have a bunch of serious topics and shit, and then you have this gaming shit here, and most people don't see gaming as serious. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this nigga play games. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like it kind of you get what I'm saying, right? People are
What
gonna
you saying?
judge you for the gaming shit and not take you serious for the other shit, or vice versa. Like, oh, yo, he's a cool dude, play games. Like, what the fuck is this shit? You know what I mean? So your audience is not gonna be able to mix like that, and you're not gonna get the subs you want from either or. I think.
Hmm. I gotta give that shit some more thought, man.
I mean, you
Uh,
could do a poll. I mean, do some
yeah.
polls and shit. See what's
I
up.
got. I'm gonna do some research and shit like that to see what I want to do in that particular regard. I don't want to have too many fucking YouTubes all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, and the channel has so many. Like, I don't want to. Uh, oh man,
Like maybe you can start your new channel, then that shit'll pop off. You know what I mean? You never know.
I don't know, man. Like, I already changed the names and everything, man. I would have to.
We'll just make a new gaming channel.
Yeah. What about all the videos that's on this?
The gaming videos, delete them shits. Or archive them, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? You can hide them, right? And not actually have them shown.
Mm,
Like,
okay.
hide the ones that you don't want, and then, like, download them and upload them to your other channel. If you want certain ones you want to keep. And
Hmm.
I think your gaming channel, you need to, like, less streaming videos and more just actual game videos.
What do you mean?
Like, a lot of times you're just streaming videos that you're on there talking to us and Black and shit. We're making a bunch of jokes and shit. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I don't stream like that anymore.
I see you on Twitch all the time. What do you mean?
That's Twitch. Twitch is a Twitch.
But don't you put those on YouTube though?
No.
No, I thought you were. I could have swear that I was on YouTube the other day and I saw your ass streaming. It's fucking
Yeah,
Horizon.
I was streaming Horizon, but those videos get deleted, and it's only on Fridays just to kind of talk to the people that I normally talk to. I'm gonna have to
Alright.
really look at, but it's not anything. Yeah, you're right. You know what?
That's like
It's
that's
interesting,
something,
man.
something to think about. You know what I mean?
It is. It is. And you're usually good with that type of shit anyway. It's something to think about, and hmm, it's something to think about. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'll
because I
probably.
like that first listen therapy you did. I can feel the passion, nigga. Like I can feel the passion in there so deep when you was talking about that shit. And I think you had a lot of people in your fucking in your spaces and shit. You know what I mean? That shit got real traction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hide these videos if I wanted to do that. I just need some more minds on there. Alrighty then, that's something I can think about for sure. But listen, guys, thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate it. Um, Listen, if you have any kind of suggestions on what we just were talking about, you could leave it in the comments for sure. And then I'll just because I have other YouTube channels as well, so there's that, and then I can just take it from there. Listen, guys.